What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you want to see next year? What do you want to change? That sort of thing. And as we have said, and I truly believe this, I think they actually listen.
I hope the answer on that by most of you Bonnaroovians is yes. I really do hope. And if you didn't, lie. Say you did.
Welcome back to the What Podcast. I'm Barry. That's Russ. That's Bryan. All right, we got another exciting show. We're going to go through the Bonnaroo Census. Actually, it just occurred to me. It's the first time we've been together, the three of us, right?
That's right.
In a few, yeah. It's been a minute.
We've been two, but not all three together. So how you guys been?
Things have been quite good around here. I know, Russ, that you were up at the well, I'll let you tell it because I can't remember what it's called, but that annual trip you took, I wanted to go, but those storms, speaking of storms, they scared me off. How was that?
Catch us up, Russ. Russ is like the nomad. Russ is that guy. He's like Zelig. Russ is that guy that shows up in the picture that you don't know. Wait, isn't that Russ? That's freaking Russ. Zelig.
It's Lord Taco's travel log. So how's it been the last couple of weeks?
It's been good. Last weekend was July 4th. Went up to Lindsay's and had a kind of a 4th of July celebration there with a few people. Sat in the creek. Beautiful weather. Once again, the storm just passed right on by. We really didn't get much
that was
weather.
A bad storm. I texted you and was like, holy crap, I hope you're alive.
I think that's the storm that got me. Yeah, that's the storm that got me. But go ahead.
And then, so come back from that. And then this weekend, I just walked in the door from up on Lookout Mountain out there on the bluff, where the planes come in and all that. We had a big celebration there too. So lots of parties, lots of camping. No planes this time. We did have a skydiver though. That's the first time I've seen that.
Was it just the weather that kept the planes not flying in and out, or?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. There's no itinerary. It's not like an airport. You can't look up arrival or departures. If somebody happens to be out flying and they want to land, they do it. But if not, we've been some years. You saw last year there was planes coming in and out all day long.
Amazing.
That's what I was going to say is because I'm not big camping unless there's something going on around the camping setup like Bonnaroo. And those planes last year, there was like 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it was crazy.
Sit out on the bluff and just watch them fly over your head. Like it's one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. So I wanted to make it out there. A buddy of ours, Ryan Oyer, was playing.
Ryan Oyer, I was going to mention. We had 3 acts play this weekend.
Wow.
Ginger Greeley, who I had not seen, but I think she's local. She played guitar and sang. Ryan Oyer, who you mentioned, I've seen him in Chattanooga quite a few times. And then the Essentials was the band that played last night, and they just strictly do covers. They just do rock and all the songs. I mean, every song they played was a song you're familiar with. So
yeah, they're a big party. They're a big party band here in Chattanooga and do pretty well. So that looked like a big time.
Yeah, and then we had they did a wood carving with a chainsaw.
Oh, you gotta show this! Oh my God, that looked awesome.
Yeah, this was amazing. They had a tree that they had kind of cut all the branches off, and he just brought he had 4 or 5 different chainsaws, and he would kind of use one and shape it, and then you'd be like, okay, I don't know what that is, and then he'd take another one and start to carve in some detail, and then little by little you're like, oh, that's an owl, okay, and then he just kept going, and then by the end, I think I showed you the final picture. It's just amazing, like a totem looking thing, and just beautiful.
Yeah,
and he just freehanded it all. Just it's in his mind. He knows, okay, I can make this, take this piece off and shape it the way I want. Just incredible to watch.
He did it in just a few hours, and I gotta say though, when I first saw it in our thread from a distance before I opened it up and looked at it, It looked like a penis to me at first.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, he's kind of shaping the top, and but this looks like a penis,
But it's
Yeah.
not.
honestly.
It's a
But
beautiful, beautiful
yeah,
owl.
It's what you see. It's whatever you see.
hmm
My mind's in the
whatever
gutter,
you
man.
desire. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
as long as we're talking about that, I do want to say, and it won't mean a lot to some people, but rest in peace, Rick Williams.
Yeah.
If you guys are at all familiar, and it's not just a Chattanooga thing, because Overland Express, Rick was with Overland and Cow Jazz and the Beaters for a minute, I'm pretty sure,
Oh,
and Sherman Williams. They were, I mean, very popular in the 70s and 80s. They were huge here, and Rick passed away yesterday. So
oh
God
man.
love him. Amazing talent, but also so funny. He was the guy, man. When I had a new joke, that's who I called.
Oh.
To try it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called Rick. And I can remember calling him. He'd be on the golf course, and he'd be like, "Why are you calling me?" I was like, "I got a joke, dude.
Gotta run this by you.
I got a new one." It's so
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
worked with his wife for a few years, and
Marianne.
Marianne, and met him through her 20 years ago or so. So
Yeah, yeah. Super, super
I
guy.
have probably met him at some point. The name isn't familiar, but I have known so many people in those types of bands locally. Milton Hamrick, Tom Lifsey, just
Yeah,
people
Tommy,
that
yeah.
played in Overland and
100%. My brothers, both my
Beaters.
brothers. Yeah,
Yeah. So I know those circles you're talking about. So that's
yeah.
sad to hear he passed away.
Yep.
yeah,
Uh,
it's too bad.
all right,
Well,
festival news.
yeah, before we do that,
hmm
today as we record is 2 years since I was at the Sphere. July
Oh
11th,
yeah. hmm
12th, and 13th of 24. Today being the 12th on record day. And it just so happens to coincide with Melvin Seals and the JGB, what's left of what would be considered the Jerry Garcia band, who's been touring ever since Jerry died. There wasn't even a hiatus. It's always been some version of the Grateful Dead family, and they're going to be at the Caverns tonight. And so I'm really excited to get up there and spend the day, and they had a big EDM show. I apologize for not remembering the act's name, but huge camping and like little mini Bonnaroo look, as we all know the Caverns can be. It's been going on all weekend, and then it runs to this show, which I'm guessing there'll be some traveling vagabonds of sorts in the campground. So I'm hoping for a nice old school throwback kind of Grateful Dead night at the Caverns tonight, and then with also celebrating that 2 years of the Sphere. And I'm going with the guy I went to Vegas with, who, if you
Nice.
remember, guys,
Nice.
really took
Yeah,
care.
yeah, that
Yeah.
you owe that guy.
Well,
You owe him a lot. Yeah.
You
he's
owe
not
that back rub, foot massage,
Mhm.
whatever he asked for.
he's not paying for anything tonight. He's
There
not
we
paying
go.
for
There it
anything
is.
tonight.
There you go.
There it is.
But Barry, the rub here is I don't pay for all that much either. So
That's true too.
so
I'm
but
hoping he's going in. He's going into the gift shop, and he's going to be like, "I need one of those. I need two of these. I need six of those.
Yeah.
Half a dozen of these."
so
Get a
yeah.
bowl of soup with a hat like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bring the credit card, Brian.
Yeah.
I owe my life because I'm dead serious, guys. Like that show that weekend, I went into, we talked a ton at the time, so, but not that you would remember every bit of it. But, I thought, yeah, cool, we're going to Vegas, see a little Dead. It's going to be a big
Yeah, yeah.
time. And I came back like I just got back from the first Bonnaroo.
I
Like, I was
remember.
like,
I remember.
what
Yeah.
did I just do? And
Yeah, it blew your mind.
it wasn't just the show, right? It was the travel, the running around the desert, the seeing something like you've never seen before. It really was like later in life now my next kind of transformative kind of event. So yeah, big time tonight. Can't wait, and happy
Are you
to hang out with you
camping?
guys.
Are you staying or are you coming back?
No, we'll be coming back tonight. I'm the DD too, so I'm driving 2 or 3 of us up, and we're gonna do some cave tours and hopefully hang out in the campgrounds and
Yeah, as soon as you leave, as soon as we're done, you're heading up there, right?
yep, spend the day.
That's
So
awesome. Say
Yeah,
hi to
that sounds
Jeff. Jeff
awesome.
reached out just the other day, actually. He had a couple of questions about a local publication. So say hi to Jeff
I
Yeah.
will.
and Todd, and I'm glad you're going. I'm kind of jealous because that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm super jealous. Yeah, I
Yeah,
kinda
how
wanna
did you
go
miss?
myself.
How did you
Yeah.
miss this one?
He's too
I didn't
busy.
I'm too busy. I got too much going on. Yeah.
All right,
But
what
anyway,
else?
looking forward to that.
What else? What other news?
As far as festival stuff goes, I know Taco. I don't know if you've made this public, so sorry if I'm outing you. But Hulaween, you're looking to do this year, right? The
Well,
fest, or you're looking into it anyway.
I've applied. I'll put it that way. So,
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going or not. If they, reach out and say, yeah, we'll give you a media pass or whatever, I would love to cover it. Which is kind of leads into what we can talk about later. But yeah, wouldn't be all that bad to expand festivals that we cover and stuff
No,
like that. So
100%.
Well,
I
I
rolled
mean,
the dice.
it's at the Swanee Spirit of Swanee Music Park, which is where Greg Allman had his festival for years, 20 years
Hmm.
ago or so. And I've heard nothing but it's just one of the better
Yeah.
like logistic locations you could have for a festival. And this lineup, I know part of it was already released, but the full thing is out. I mean, this thing is balanced with a shitload of EDM, but lots of good not EDM rock music on it too. My Morning Jacket,
Yeah, My Morning
Geese,
Jacket. Hmm.
yeah,
Warren Haynes.
Warren Haynes. I think that might be a little bit of a throwback to the Allman Brother, the brothers
Hmm.
gathering there. And uh, I look at this now, and now I want to go.
Yeah.
Not to mention, string cheese. Of course, it's kind of their thing,
It
and we
is,
had
yeah.
Kyle Hollingsworth on. He talked a little bit about it last time. Yeah, I've always just heard great things. I know people that go, and they say like next to Bonnaroo, Hulaween is kind of their second home. So
Yeah, what I've always heard is the art element of it is
yeah,
what
yeah,
puts it to the next level, and I totally respect that. That
Plenty of
sounds fascinating.
plenty of jam with String and Warren, and then you got Eggy and
hmm
Lettuce. And Dope Lemon's not jam, but that was a big miss. We got missed from 25,
I remember
2025.
that. Yeah.
Dope Lemon was skyrocketing, at least on my radar. It's a great looking lineup. So I don't know, late October. We'll see how that goes. But good
Yeah,
work on that
You
Halloween.
taking the van? You taking the bus down if you go?
of course. Where else would I?
It's all
What else
downhill,
would I
right?
do?
It's downhill.
Yeah,
Be
it's
easy.
it's about 6-ish hours.
on
It's
the
barely in
map,
Florida,
on the map, it goes straight, falls
Yeah.
right down.
Coming back will be tough, but going down will be easy.
Hmm.
Just
That's
put
right.
it in cruise.
It's and just logistically, so people understand from where we are, right, just 2 steps above Georgia, it's just 1 state away. As
Yeah.
soon as you
It
get to
basically is, yeah.
as soon as you get to Florida, you're basically there. It's in the
Mhm.
Panhandle.
Right.
So I don't know.
All right. Cool.
Road trip maybe.
All right.
I'm in.
One other thing here, as far as notables in the last week or two, we're kind of sticking here to more local stuff, but it's also, I mean, it's Billy Strings, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've got the bluegrass conference here, the IBMA that started last year. It's second year here, and they're pulling it out again and bringing Billy Strings back to town in some capacity. There's some kind of concert going on there between everybody, I would think. And it's at our newly opened or about to be reopened Tivoli Theater, which is one of the
He will
most
be the first.
He will
Yeah,
be
he'll
the
be the
grand
first act in the
reopening.
newly renovated
2
Tivoli.
nights.
Yeah.
Correct.
one of the better types of theaters of its kind in the Southeast, maybe in the whole country, and it's going to be big time. But nobody can get tickets, at all. The dynamic pricing took off immediately. Thousands of dollars for tickets right off the bat. What is it, Barry? Would you say 1,700
I think
capacity?
the small, 1750 is the capacity for
Yeah,
the Tivoli. It opened in 1920,
21.
21. Yeah,
I think it's.
it was the first theater in the South with air conditioning.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, and it's a gorgeous building,
It's
and
beautiful.
so I won't be there. None of us will,
Not for
unless one of
600. I think the
Nah,
cheapest ticket is 600 and something.
uh,
Some of the others are
so
yeah, can't
1,200.
afford that. Mm-mm.
I don't care who it is. It can be. Big God. I ain't paying $1,200.
well, I don't know. You know the brass, the suits better than we do, Barry. So maybe
We'll see. I'll be making that phone call.
I know you will. I know you will. But that about covers anything going on around here. And then, I mean, this is not news, but the Reddits and the social medias are loving some 2027 Bonnaroo mock lineups. Have you seen this? I was
I
like,
hate this.
are we
Yeah.
really doing this already? Mock lineups, 11 months. But anyway, that's just for fun, I guess.
Who's number one on your list that you want to see next year?
Oh, I don't think I could answer that quickly. I have to look and see who's available more than anything because I don't know. I mean, everybody wants Tame. You know, Tame Impala was, or
Sure.
Impala, whatever they're called, was in Atlanta to a huge show just last night, this past weekend at State Farm Arena.
Yep.
That's a pretty easy. I don't want them. I don't care anything about them, but they have a couple songs, but nothing much I care about. But I
Have
don't know, Barry. Good question.
have you guys come across Tom A. Smith?
Mm-mm.
Look
Tom
that one up.
A. Smith,
Tom A. Smith.
not
All of a
Tom A.
sudden is on my feed and I'm obsessed. He's like the young blood to me of this year. I want this guy. So we'll see. I'll
Well, when
send
we
you a
get
link.
when we
I'll
get to the
send you.
census, yeah, when we get to the census, we can
Yeah.
dive a little bit further, and we'll do
Yeah,
that
this
here.
this ties a little bit into that. Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. All
Why
right, we
not
want to take a break.
Jesse Wells? Why not Jesse Wells? You know,
Yep. And
Oh.
He played on.
Brian, speaking of, yeah, my daughter read me the riot act. She was like, "Holy crap, I asked you about that guy, Dad, and then I have to hear about it from Brian on the podcast." She loves, and she was like, "What the hell? I told you."
he
We
That was
he
so great. Good for
if
you.
if you just say like, hey, his name is a little generic, Jesse Wells. He looks a little goofy. If you're just kind of just passerby, but if you really dig into what his messaging is and what he's doing, it's really infectious. If you have the same kind of ideological mindset as all three of us mostly do, and he does as well, it's so captivating and yeah, he's his ascension is like is going way
Mhm.
high, but it's been moving slow for about a year and a
Yeah.
half, and
Yeah.
so it's good stuff.
Well, Grace is my, she's the one I rely on, and we were talking the other day, and she was like, "Oh my God." She was so mad. "Why
That's
do I have
funny.
to
Wasn't the
hear
only
about
one.
this from Stone and not you?" I was like,
Well, there was
"Wow."
we got a ton of comments on that. People saying like, "Oh my God, I didn't know he was there. I had no idea. I
Yeah.
can't believe I missed this." So
Yeah.
yeah, clearly there's a lot of buzz and there's a lot
Awesome.
of, but if he were actually on stage, I think that would be a really big show.
I think
I
he'll be back. I would predict if
Yeah.
it works
yeah.
out, he'll be back.
Well, this is another one of those very overnight sensation after 10 years. He played at Bonnaroo in
Right.
2017.
Wow.
He played at Bonnaroo in
Wow.
2017, and I got this. Thank you to who put that in one of the comment sections of something we posted, and I thought this is not right. This is not
Yeah,
right.
he doesn't
He's
look
only
like he's old enough. Was he 12 then?
Yeah.
he's 33 or 34. So I
Wow.
was like, I don't think this is right. And then I looked it up, and his original band when he was 22 years old was called Wells. The band was just called Wells, and
Okay.
they played on a Thursday on this tent. So yeah,
Wow, nice.
we'll see
Wow.
how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Well, he's on our list to talk to next year. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we're going to get into the census. And we're back. As they do every year, the good folks, Corey and his team put out a questionnaire. And they sort of reach out to the folks like us and ask, hey, what did you like? What didn't you like? What do you want to see next year? What do you want to change? That sort of thing. And as we have said, and I truly believe this, I think they actually listen. Would you guys
Oh
agree?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I believe that's what they say, and that's what we've come to understand. And I absolutely believe that they do. Yes.
I do too. So, all right, Brian, you've printed it out as you have in the past.
Well, of course, I print everything out.
Yeah, you probably got it laminated and duplicated and collated and all that stuff. Let's go through it.
Yeah, sure. It's been a few weeks, and the difference this year, and because of obviously a much different situation last year than this year, they did like 3 rounds of censuses last year of different kinds of questioning, and
Mhm.
and it looks like this might be the only one they're going to do this year. Is just a more all put together in one kind of thing.
Can we let's go back just real quick because last year was such a weird thing. As it all ended on a Friday, and when we started getting those questions last year, it was like, are they actually gonna do this again? So it was a big deal to get the
Big deal.
questions, right?
That's true. It was questionable if Bonnaroo would return.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so to even get the questions
Mhm.
felt like, "Oh, thank God." Right?
Yeah, well, or yeah, you could look at
Or
it either
not.
way, I guess. Yeah, like, oh God, they're so worried. I don't know. It is just data gathering, so it's not like it's everyone's gone over and like, oh, and Bryan likes Pearl Jam. Like it's not that in depth. So it is data gathering.
But one of
Um,
the questions was, should it move to the fall? Which think
yeah,
about that. That was so I don't even know what the word is. That was so crazy to even
I
consider,
I
right?
think that's in this one again too. I actually haven't looked at it since I made my first note, so we'll kind of figure it out
Yeah.
as we go here. But
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. It was meaningful to have gotten those 3 last year, and I think Corey even told us the first couple were, he was just reaching. And so this one feels a little more pointed. I'll just go ahead and say that.
well, it's a lot of multiple choice, which is good. Many of the ones last year, I complained about it then, as I'm annoyed by what I do think is junk data gathering and polling from a national macro scale. Like, do you like the Democratic Party? Yes or no? Like,
Right,
okay,
right, right.
man, what a worthless
Yeah.
question.
Is sunshine
Um,
good?
yeah,
Mhm.
and so there was some of that. There's we could have a pollster on, and which Brad Steiner is kind of an amateur pollster. He could actually kind of sit here and probably tell us a little bit more of the psychology of how these go together. But this one's far more um detailed,
Yeah.
and with more, I believe, helpful
I thought so too.
answers.
I thought so too.
So
That was my point.
without further ado, I guess we'll get started here. And it starts off with a couple of them that are just very simple. Have you been to Bonnaroo before? So, of course, the answer is yes. If so, how many years have you attended? We've gone over that at length. Almost all of them, between all of us, a lot. Age ranges. What's the most? I guess a quick answer to this will answer what macro genre of music would you say you listen to the most if you had to pick one? Alternative, electronic, hip hop, rock, pop, all that kind of stuff.
That was the most difficult one for me to answer.
Yeah, because I like several
Same.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Exactly.
If I had to say you can only pick one, it would be like alternative. But alternative music, when it was first labeled that as a genre in the mid to late '90s, meant a lot different than it does now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now it's
So,
alternative EDM.
Yes. So now I got to just kind of default and say, well, I'm a rock and roll guy.
That was
But
me, rock.
what about you, Russ? Assuming the same.
I settled on rock. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more to it, but yeah, if
Sure.
you got to pick one, that's it. Yeah.
But like it says country and Americana. If it said just Americana, I
Both
would think about
kinds.
it. I
We
would
got
think
both
about it.
kinds, country and
I don't need those together. I could get too many more Luke Combs out of the deal, and I don't need any
right,
more of that.
right.
Um, which genre do you wish had more of a presence at Bonnaroo? And it pretty much names every single one of them. And I just went my default answer: active rock, classic rock, and jam. It says pick three.
Hmm.
There's emo, there's house, indie rock, metal, pop, all EDM. But I went with active rock, classic rock, and jam. And but of course I did.
Yeah, no, I did the same. I did the same. We had somebody send us a comment, about too much EDM, and I wanna get into this later in a whole episode, but if you guys remember, if you saw it,
I did see it.
too
Hmm.
much EDM and spread across too many stages, and I thought that was really interesting because EDM has, blossomed. It now has so many different subgenres. I thought that was just an interesting take that we're
Yeah, I mean,
probably gonna
used to be
have
they
to
just had
visit.
their own stage.
Yeah,
The other
and
stage
stick
was
them all out
traditionally
there in
just
the
all
corner and
EDM, and
yeah.
yeah, if you wanted EDM, that's where you went, and then everywhere else was just not EDM.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
you got
it
house.
kind of has bled over. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep it all straight. I do look forward to talking to guys that know more. And another one on here too that goes right along with as far as genres that goes along with saying like alternative rock is also indie rock. Indie rock also meant something different 35 years ago than it does now.
Yeah.
Independent rock. What does that even mean? So I would pick it too, just because it's got the word rock in it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I'm with
but
you.
but I don't know that that means that's absolutely, a genre I need more of because I would put, Geese in indie rock 5 years ago, right? Like,
Ooh,
not now.
yeah,
They're mainstream. You can't call something mainstream indie. At least I'm not gonna call something
yeah,
mainstream
yeah,
indie.
I get you. Yeah, truth.
So, just interesting there. Same, yeah, a lot of these are reworded questions, but when it comes to headliners, so this is a little different. Headliners, what genre would you like to see represented most? And it's got all the typical, selections. What do you think? What I mean, where are you leaning, guys? Rock, pop, uh,
See, it kinda gets yeah, that opens so many things. It's the, legacy. I mean, is it jam? Is it legacy? Is it, current, you know, whoever the top of the pops right now is? I
See,
don't
I would say yes to everything you just said. All three of those. Like, if you could give me one of each.
yeah,
Um, I love the legacy act.
me
Of
too.
course, I'm an old guy, so I love a good I love a good legacy act. Which when the Strokes are your legacy act, I struggle with that.
See,
Yeah,
there it
there's
is.
different
Go ahead,
yeah,
Russ.
there's different nuances to legacy. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I think one of the biggest headliners in recent memory was probably Stevie Nicks, and she's definitely on that
She's probably
legacy.
the last that I would consider a legacy act.
What
Correct.
we
Yeah.
became known to call legacy. Yeah. And so if we're
Mhm.
gonna go that direction, I think Russ, you've even said this in the past. Weird Al
Yeah, yeah,
was the
yeah.
Oh,
legacy
yeah.
act
He was,
There you
yeah.
go, for sure. Good
Mhm.
pull. Yep.
because that was 40-year-old music. Half of it, which I loved, by the way, if I didn't make that clear in past episodes.
No,
But
you
I did,
did. I
Oh, me
think you
too,
did.
yeah. Yeah.
oh my God, loved it. I was gonna say, so it just, I mean, I just put, this is pick one, and I just put rock again. But I don't know.
I was thinking about this morning. I mean, people watching this, they're gonna look, and I'm the old gray-haired guy. I'm 62, I'll be 63 in September. You guys are in your 40s. When Bonnaroo started, you were the 20-year-olds. You were the
Yeah,
kids. You were the
it was
punks.
geared towards me. Yeah.
Exactly. And I can remember having conversations with Bryan backstage, you know, when he was looking at me like, yeah, okay, grandpa, you know, no disrespect. I got it. I understood it. But now you are where I was
I know.
then.
I know.
And we still love this festival. So that's where the whole legacy thing becomes interesting to me. It's like, whose legacy?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Whose legacy are we even talking about here?
Exactly.
Are we talking
Yeah.
about is the legacy the era, or is it the exact act itself? That, you can split hairs on that a lot, but I just love a good old school act.
Me too, and I'm good with any of it. I think I mean, I don't think I was too, patronizing to you at the time. I
No,
got it. I
no,
mean,
no.
I love a good pop act. I love a good old school act. I love a EDM act. I love hip hop, all that stuff. So,
Well, that
it's an interesting conversation. When you were you being you were 13, 14, 15, whatever the music was at that time is the best music ever.
yeah, yeah.
And I get
Yeah.
that.
Every
That's what
every generation,
that's what I'm saying. I 100% get that.
Yeah, I mean, there's psychological studies that show that this is of everything in your life, that's your most formative years.
That's
And
right.
so
Mhm.
the movies of the time, when do
Saturday
I
Night
think
Live, the best
the be
cast ever when you
oh
were
my God.
mid-teens.
And then as soon as you turn 28,
Yeah,
Saturday Night
they
Live
all
sucks now.
yeah, the new cast sucks.
That's right. Yeah.
And guess what? The show never goes away. It
That's
always
right.
keeps happening. So that's funny.
Yeah.
A good segue here is just kind of we've just said a lot of this, but it's just two answers. When it comes to headliners, do you prefer current acts or legacy? And the two is legacy or give me the hottest stuff now.
I
What do you
want
think
both.
of
I
Yeah,
want
well, yeah,
both.
me too.
I'd like to know what's hot. I mean, I like to know we're going back to my daughter. I relied on her to tell me what's the current thing. I like to know what's good.
Yeah, like would I have picked Post Malone 2 years ago to be a Friday night headliner? Hell no, I wouldn't
Childish
have.
Gambino. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no. But that was amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
Same
Post
same for
Malone
that Post Malone show was amazing 2
Yeah.
years
Post
ago. Yeah.
Malone was incredible, man. Like
Mhm.
it was such a great, and I would have never known or thought of that if it didn't happen that night. So, yeah, that's one of those kind of trick questions. Give me both for sure.
That's what our buddy Brad Parker, remember, before he left, that's one of the things he emphasized is that what Bonnaroo tries to do is the zeitgeist of the day.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, and
that's the part that people don't always wanna get. The people who say, "Oh, man, it used to be a jam band fest and now it's not." It was
it
never
was never
supposed to
designed to be.
always be a jam band. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be the zeitgeist of the day, and I
And
think
that's
that's what it
really what
does.
what the word Bonnaroo kinda means, best in the streets, a good time, like, it really does mean, like, the whatever the current, yeah, hotness is, that's what they wanna showcase.
And our buddy Rick from Church Boners, I think he
Mhm.
nailed it. Bonnaroo hadn't gotten old, you got old.
yeah,
Right.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good one there from Rick. Absolutely, yeah.
I
Bonnaroo's not old. We are.
we got old. We moved on. We moved past.
All right, so the rest of these are going to be a little bit more, well, a couple of them anyway that are easier to discuss. Would you be more likely to come to Bonnaroo if the lineup featured comedy acts? Speaking of things Bonnaroo used to lean heavily into that don't anymore, what do y'all think to that?
I get the question, and it's interesting that they ask it that way. It's one of those things we all miss, but I mean, it was
Yeah.
not it was just an extra, you know,
Well, see,
it
comedy was done by the time that I even started going, so I don't have this
it was
recollection of what it was
Oh,
incredible.
like.
It was
that's
I've heard
nice.
incredible.
stories, and it sounds great, and, I do love comedy.
I mean, I can remember going, Russ, in '08 and, '07, '08, and Flight of the Conchords was playing,
Mhm.
not the 2 of them, they weren't there, but their videos were, in the comedy tent, I was like, holy shit, what is this universe that I'm not familiar
Yeah.
with? And it was like, this is Bonnaroo. This is why it's so cool. So I get it. And then Brian, I know you're gonna was it Bill Maher who played outside or Conan? It was Conan O'Brien.
It was Conan and Chris Rock.
And Chris Rock was on the big stage, but Conan was
Yes.
playing on the video screen between that and the other, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Outside.
that I think you're talking about 2010 when he was kind of the MC of the weekend. So he was on stage, he was on videos, he was in interview, like he was all over the
And
place in 2010.
Triumph
And
was there.
and Robert Smigel brought
Smigel.
Triumph
Mhm.
brought Triumph with him too. That was and then Tenacious
Funniest thing, that
D.
was the same year as Public Enemy. And Janine Garofalo was in the media tent the next day, and she said, "Did you guys hear what Triumph said?" And we're all like, "What?" And he said, "Do you guys know why Flava Flav wears that clock around his neck? It's so that he can tell everybody how far he moved the civil rights movement."
Moved it back.
Moved it back. It was like
I
breathtaking. Everybody was, "Oh my."
that
How
that
far
is so
back he moved the civil rights movement.
that's
Yeah,
hilarious. And if I'm not mistaken, Conan came out on stage with Tenacious D that year. So we've just kind of given the example of how comedy really does work at
yep,
this festival. That
yep.
was a huge year and it was so funny and unique and nobody else was doing something
Right,
like
right.
that.
Exactly. The
Um,
Well,
problem was the tent was so small, you couldn't get in. It
very
was
yeah.
hard.
too small. And a lot of people were going in it because it was air conditioned. So it was people were going in there and sleeping. So it
Yeah.
was kind of this mix of they never really figured out how to make it work, I guess, from a money, logistics wise, whatever. But it was very, very cool to have those guys there for
Well, the
sure.
the next question is, who would you get? Because as you know, our culture now is so fractured and siloed. You don't really have this genre of like a
Sure,
big comedian. So a big comedian to you is going to be a bit different than
true.
who I listen to or whatever. You don't really have like the Chris Rocks or the Conans these days that could
That
get on stage
transcend. Yeah,
and
that transcend.
transcend all of this shared culture.
And for those who don't know, Rock was the only one who did the what stage. I
He
think
did
that's
the
the
what
only comedy,
stage.
right?
He did it. Yeah, he did it before Metallica.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
came out on stage with Metallica. He didn't perform or sing or anything, but that was just a wonderful year. That was
That's
'08.
cool.
And his
Yeah.
big joke that I remember was everybody's worried about a black president in the White House. They need to be worried about a black woman in the White House talking about Michelle.
Oh, and how she'll mess up the whole place or something.
Yeah, be scared of the black woman, not the black man.
That is funny. That's
I
right.
remember it was great.
I don't
Good point.
remember.
Yeah, that would have been 2008, so right before the election.
Yep. Yep. I don't remember any of those jokes. I just remember he kept because it's kind of his shtick on other things. He goes, "I said it. I said it at
I said it.
Bonnaroo.
I said it at
Yeah.
Bonnaroo.
I
Yeah.
said it at Bonnaroo," and he did that like 10 times throughout the whole thing. It
It
was it
was
was always
awesome.
the callback kept coming back, and it was in the spit and rain. We thought we were going to get hit by a storm the
Yeah,
whole time.
yeah.
They didn't evacuate Centeroo back then like they do now.
No,
A storm's coming. Good
no.
luck, guys.
I went and
Yeah.
crawled in my tent and expected to die. I remember
Yeah.
that vividly.
It never came.
Looking at the top of my tent, thinking, "I'm gonna die.
It
This is
never
it."
came. It never came. Yeah, that was a
It was
big
great.
year.
All right,
So,
what's the next one?
but to answer the question, would it make me likely to go more or want to go? No,
Yeah,
not at all.
I think Russ nailed it. Who would it be?
Right. What name would get you there?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Shane Gillis,
I was about to say the same thing. Shane Gillis, he's hilarious sometimes and offensive and the biggest loser I've ever heard other times. Do we
Bargatze.
really?
See, I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Shane? Okay, Nate Bargatze, is he? I
I've
mean,
heard of him.
he's the biggest right now. Are you buying a ticket to go see Nate?
He's never uttered a word that I laughed at in my life. So
His Saturday Night Live bits were pretty freaking hilarious. But
so
yeah,
anyway, I would be fine with it, but make it more desirable of a festival. I would say no. I
I
would say
think
probably not.
Russ nailed it. I think the question is worth asking because it used to be important, but who in actuality would those comics be? That's a
No,
good point. That's a great point.
you did hit that.
It may just be an era that's bygone. I don't know.
Yep.
It's kind of a toxic genre to go into because you're going to fracture your audience, and
Yeah.
so it's probably not a good idea. Well, simple here. Would you rather more focus? They asked this last year. More focus on headliners or more focus on undercard? What say you?
I love the lanes. I thought this year, um, I thought Bryan and Steven nailed the lanes this year about as well
Hmm.
as could be done. Wasn't overwhelmed by the headliners, wasn't overwhelmed by anyone particularly on the lineup, but I thought each day there was something for me to go see from start to finish, and that's pretty strong.
I don't remember if I've said it on this show, but I criticized this lineup a lot early on, and then I never, I didn't harp on it and spend months talking about it, but I never really let up that I thought the lineup was lacking. But the lineup, once it came to be and it was showtime, the lineup performed excellent. So to your point of the lanes, like every single thing worked.
Yeah.
Even though
Mhm.
going into it, I didn't think it would, and I wasn't sure how it would, but it really did. The lineup this year, as lackluster as it was on paper, really performed over the course of the weekend. And
I
and
agree.
so that's not answering the question for me. The question is, I'm a sucker for a big time headliner. I because of my love for the what. So I mean, I don't want
Sure.
I don't want Rufus the Soul as a headliner. That's a throwaway night for me. I got nothing to do. I mean, yeah, I'll go. Hey, there it is, cool, and I'm off. That's just one man's opinion. I like more investment in headliners, but I think I'm in the minority on that one. What about you, Russ?
If you're gonna make me pick one, I would say Undercard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
Yeah.
so who's who's left? Who are the headliners?
there aren't a whole lot.
Who are the
Yeah.
$1,000,000
Mhm.
headliners that are, out there? Um, I mean, that's kinda what we get to in addition to the question. I mean, Tay-Tay, I mean, I want
Yeah,
to see Taylor Swift. I'm not
yeah.
a huge fan, but I want to see her. That would
I
be
would
a big one. Yeah,
I would fall
Gaga,
all I would fall all over myself to see either one of those 2, and I don't
correct.
care a single thing about either one of them. No, we're talking about acts that are not on
Right,
the
right,
radar
right.
because of
Stones.
dollars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, who else? Who else? Who's left?
This is where we get back
Uh,
to, do you go with the hottest or legacy? So Tame right now, there's one, right? I mean, so it would depend on who
Again,
is
that's a personal, then it becomes yeah.
is hot in that moment. But I still overall the generic fallback is I would rather see more investment in headliners because I like the big show on the what and the which, and I want high quality there. So that's how I would answer that.
I'm with you. I love the fact because 'cause we've done this for so many years. I love the fact, and Brian, you'll agree with this. We can tick off the people that we have seen at
Oh yeah,
Bonnaroo because it's Bonnaroo that we would not have otherwise.
exactly.
Yeah, no question about it. So, I get
Yeah,
that.
but I also like it's almost like the NFL draft, right? When you see the draft the day it happens, it doesn't mean much. But when you look back 5 years later, you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
look at all these players.
there you go.
And
mhm.
I don't find as much enjoyment in the moment of saying, hey, this act over here, that's Noah Khan in 23
Yeah.
on the that tent. Brad Steiner said, you have to go see this. You will like it. Go there. and it was too crowded. I couldn't get in, and I was like, yeah, what the hell? I don't care about that as much. Now Noah Khan on the what? Okay,
Elvis
now I'm more
Costello
interested.
and Alan Toussaint on that stage for me in 2008. Oh my god, I can't believe
Got
I
it.
got to see that.
I was trying to
Unbelievable.
think as you said that Costello. When the hell did Costello play there? Oh wait,
2008. Yep, same year. That's
dude.
the only year my wife came. I made her. I
Uh,
dragged her by the hair. I said, "We're going to see Elvis Costello and Alan
Yeah.
Toussaint." Yeah,
Man, speaking of going back and looking at old lineups, it's always fun. Everybody understands that, loves to do it. 2008 is a
it's amazing.
rockin' banger of a festival. So, I
Yeah,
mean, Pearl Jam, of course, but Metallica,
Springsteen.
Chris Rock.
Springsteen
Springsteen
was
was '09. Springsteen was
or
'09.
maybe it was 9 then. Maybe it was
Okay.
9. I'm
Okay.
terrible with numbers, but yeah, probably 9 because that would have been 3 years. So Kelly came. She came for 1 day. We saw Springsteen, Elvis Costello, and was that Flaming Lips? Was that the year
Yeah,
or the
I
year
think
before?
so.
Yeah,
I think so. Well, I
yeah,
mean, it was almost every year for a while,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. I remember looking up and seeing this dude walking in a big bubble. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta go see that. That's
That's
crazy.
something
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Something to see.
Anyway, it's amazing, those type of things.
Move along here with just a few more here. This one's just pick a bunch of random bands. What do you like, or what do you like most of these? And it ranges from everything from Mumford and Sons to Nine Inch Nails to Sabrina Carpenter. You know, that's just something, just data gathering. But um, interesting question. We just kind of talked about it, but do you use attending Bonnaroo as a way to discover new music?
No, that's 100%. That's what I would I would say that is what changed my life is with Bonnaroo because I've said before in 2001, I had been working at the paper covering concerts and everything, and it was just the sameness. It was just the same show over and over and over. It didn't matter. And then to go to Bonnaroo in 2002 and on the regular from 2007, and it's all about discovering new music. It didn't matter. Before that, it was all about what was on the radio, and that it was somebody else telling me what I should like. Bonnaroo changed that whole thing. Now it was like, I want to go discover I want to go see something I've never heard before.
Sure. What about you, Russ?
Same. I mean, there's all kinds of bands that you know, I tend to just listen to the same thing. I guess everyone does once you get to a certain age. And Bonnaroo is like the one thing that is able to inject like new, up and coming music into my life. And so, yeah, I definitely rely on it for that.
I trust Brian and Steven that they have good taste. So if it's on the
Yeah.
lineup,
Yeah,
it may not be for me, but I'm gonna trust that it's good, and I wanna go check it
absolutely.
out. So
If
go
there's
ahead.
if somebody's up on a stage at Bonnaroo, there's a reason they're there, and it may not be your thing. You may not like it as much, but you can probably objectively tell, okay, this person has something that is worthy of them being on stage here.
I wanna hear your answer, Brian, but I will offer 2, uh, well, Japanese Breakfast was a bad year, and, Little Dicky. Little Dicky was horrible.
I know you've
Yeah.
said that. I know you've said that.
Yeah,
Horrible, but what's your answer to that question, Brian?
Well, my answer would have been closer to what you guys said years ago, but this kind of goes to what I just said about wanting the what to have legacy and stuff I'm familiar with and things that it might be discovery within a genre like Post Malone or a Sabrina Carpenter or somebody like that. Um, I'm more into familiarity at Bonnaroo these days.
Okay.
The lead up, like I tend to have this one act I focus on that's new to me every year, like a single, and then I just like Youngblood this year was that, and
Yeah, yeah.
MJ Lenderman was the year before, and Chapel Roan was the year before that, and I don't remember what it was in 22, but there's always that one. So it's a split answer. There's always that one that I become almost obsessed with, and then as soon as Bonner is over, I never listen to him again. Uh, but as an attendee on the farm, wandering around, wanting to find new music, I don't find myself in that place anymore.
Oh,
I want
wow.
familiarity.
So I'm the opposite. So 2008, I think My Morning Jacket, never heard of him before. I'm amazed. I heard that. I came home.
I'm amazed.
All I listened to, I mean, over and over and over and over, and I still do it. And then Bahamas. Uh, that Bahamas has become my Sunday morning go-to. I mean, my wife she looks at me like,
She's
"Again?
like, enough
Again? We
already.
gotta do
Yeah.
this again?" I'm like, "Nope, it's Sunday morning, I'm doing, Bahamas is Alfie because that's my startup." And that was a stumble on, you know, at that tent, believe it or not. I think you were there, Brian. I know Brad was, that's to me, that's what I love
Well,
about this
I'll
festival.
tell you, My Morning Jacket was at their absolute peak, if you're asking me, in '08, '09, and '10. So, yeah, you were running into them at their best
I
when they were
became
making their best
obsessed.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Late night programming, how important is to you, scale 1 to 5 after 2 AM? I mean, mine's a 1, like, I don't care at all.
Yeah, 1, 2, maybe.
On a personal level, it's a 1 or 2, but I think it's to the festival, it's a
5. It's
5. Yeah,
probably a 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, I get it. I love it. I appreciate it. It's just not for me because 'cause I'm
What
old.
about What about, times between sets? You know, Bonnaroo's kinda known for, a lot of rushing, a lot of conflicts, a lot of missing, and a lot of overlaps. They've always been that way. It's a way we all know the formula. We've, talked to them in the past, but what do y'all think? I don't like it as much. I wish they spread it out a little bit more, but what do y'all think?
You wish they had more time between
Like,
sets?
yeah, I think there's a lot going on at Bonnaroo, and you could scale it down a little bit, you wouldn't miss much.
Ooh,
Um
I probably disagree on that. I mean, there're just gonna be conflicts. I don't want dead time. Um, and that gets to the AB thing with the what and that. I understand what Corey was saying about having 10, 15 minutes between with the idea that people would hug and howdy and, you know, whatever. That's bull. Just I one act stops, another one should start. I think that's how festivals should work. That's how Shaky Knees does it.
That's
I
how
love
Shaky
Moon
Knees does
River.
it,
I
yeah.
love it.
Mhm.
I don't want dead time. It's
Well, but I mean that's a version of what I'm saying too, though, because there's overlap a lot too. So, but it's hard to do because you have so many multiple stages. It's just there's a lot of noise pollution in Centeroo. It's tough to get to a good spot where you can really focus in on certain things. Sometimes is maybe my main reason for
so
going that
you're
direction.
saying you would like to have maybe left Youngblood and had 10 minutes to get to this stage to see whatever that act was.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, if you're just making me pick one, again, the two answers are yes, cram as many bands in as possible, or no, I hate rushing back and forth. So this ain't a great question. I
I'm
don't
going with the
say
first.
yes. Are you? See,
Yeah.
I would push towards possibly a little bit less. What about you, Russ?
It's all dependent. I mean, if there's 2 bands that I wanna see back to back, yeah, I might
Well,
want time to get in between. If I wanna see every minute of every single one, it's just entirely dependent on who you're talking about.
Yeah. That's a
yeah.
tough one.
Otherwise, if
That's a
it's
tough
just
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want which in this, like there are a lot of people who are like, I can't believe those guys said which sounded good. Well, which sounded good every time I was there, so
Me too.
that's all I can go
Yeah, it sounded
on.
great to me. Yeah.
But if you're on the right side of which and you're close to this over there and you've got Tyler Childers here and you've got I don't know, some
Yeah.
kind of EDM act over here, you've got a
LSZ.
LSZ, you've got a bleed that is
Yeah.
unbearable. So that's kind of
Yeah.
where I mean, like, turn this stage off and let's do. But so that's that. But that's not possible
That's a
sometimes.
tough one.
Sometimes you have to do that. We already mentioned it slightly, but we didn't talk about it. Would you be more likely to attend in September than June?
No.
I,
Nope. June.
I wouldn't be less likely. I mean, I would go either one, but it's a June festival. You know, we all agree on that. It's a June
Yeah, it's not
festival.
moving. Yeah.
They've cornered the market on June. It doesn't need to be in September. How important is the Super Jam from 1 to, like, 5? Very important to not important at all. I have it very close to not important at all. I've almost never been.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't remember the last time I actually went to a Super Jam.
It's a
It's too damn
3.
c it's
It's
too
a 3
crowded
for
in that
me.
damn tent. It's too crowded in that
Mhm.
tent, man. It's just not an it's not an enjoyable time unless you really are dedicated and you get in there.
It's a 3. I think it's a big part of what makes Bonnaroo special. Does that mean that I go every year? No. But I think it's awesome. I think it's great.
All right. A few more here. I'll move a little quicker here as we're stretching on time a bit. But for Thursday Rue, would you rather have the what we had or more what we used to have? More tents open or
Yeah,
the main stage?
Open it up.
yeah, I prefer the more traditional, you don't have to have an act on the wet stage, but just have it more smaller bands Thursday, just like we have before.
I
I
I
agree.
I re I really wasn't a
100%,
big into the opening thing this
100%, and it didn't work. I mean, it
I don't I don't think it worked that well, and this is going to load in. These questions are going to run into each other, so let's do this too. How do because this we can bounce back and forth with these two. How do you feel about the new location for that? Parenthetically, pretend there was no mud. I will not pretend there was no mud.
you weren't with us when we saw Shelby, but yeah, I like it. I may be the only one, but I like it. I'm not
I
sure
I
that they
liked it too,
shouldn't
yeah.
take the tent part down and just make it a stage. And I will add that they can move it because that fence can be moved. I've heard people
Mhm.
say, it's too close. Well, it was too close because they moved the fence in because there was only 45,000 people. I like it. I like the AB part of it. It didn't bother me that we'd lost it. We're in the corner. I like the beer brew. What was it called?
Bonnie
Bonnaroo,
Ruse.
Bonnaroo's. I like that. I loved having a place to get out of the sun, sit down, have a beer in
Mhm.
that corner.
watch
I
some hockey, some
watch
soccer.
some I'm all for it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I don't mind Bonnaroo's. Bonnaroo's, nice little place over there. You know me, I'm gonna lean into it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I think that the entire field was ruined by Friday night. There's too much traffic out there. I can't pretend there wasn't mud. It rains every year at Bonnaroo. There's going to be mud, and with the increased traffic out there on Thursday, there wasn't any traffic at all out there until the last few years. Right? That was a dark, closed. It was roped off. You couldn't walk out to the wet field.
Yeah, it always felt
Now,
like going to a different venue to me. I never
Mhm.
understood that. From the
well,
beginning, I never understood why the what was treated like a completely different venue.
It might be maybe because it's just because uninterrupted and left alone there facing its own way, it's the best sounding stage in the world, maybe.
Well,
I
there
mean,
was that.
all I know is that you increased the traffic, it rained like hell a few times, and then you added the additional stage, and the place was impassable in portions by Saturday morning.
Here's what
I
I never
I
did, Brian. Did you ever I mean, you probably did because you had acts that you were so, locked in on seeing. I never understood people who would go to the what at, like, 10, 11, 12, noon, whatever, and just camp to see one act that was that night, and that was early, early on.
that was
Later
before
in
they do things the way
Yeah,
now,
now
yeah.
they would have a 3 o'clock and then a 5 o'clock and whatever. I never understood going over there and missing all of these other shows just to get in the pit or whatever for the headliner at the what.
Well, I
That's
haven't
what I
done that
mean that's what
either.
I mean
Yeah.
by I'm like, it was like its own separate venue. I never understood that. So, anyway, I'm kind of for it. I loved Russ and we walked in, we saw Youngblood, we turned around, we saw Geese. I thought
Mhm.
that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no,
And,
no doubt.
like, the chats, and then
And
turn
then
around and see Blues Traveler, and yeah.
Yep.
No doubt. I mean, conceptually, I love the stage. Oh yeah, A B A B A B.
Mhm.
I do. This is not that traditional version of what we're talking. We talk about shaky knees. These are two big stages right next to each other.
Right.
Like
True.
it's not. This is a contrived, forced idea
Yeah.
that because of the weather. Now maybe this is just the outlier of this year. That whole field was ruined by Saturday early, and then by Sunday, it was impossible without having the proper footwear and the proper things, to be able to weather that kind of thing. So, I think that's a big reason why. Plus, I just don't like it out there. So I didn't have to search long to find a reason to not like it. But
I get it.
hey,
I get it.
did you tune into Bonnaroo Radio? That's a question on here. Of course we
Yes.
I
did.
did.
We listened
Yeah.
every minute
Yeah,
Yes.
of
of
every
Thank you,
course.
Brian Stone, for
Mhm.
crushing our shows. Awesome. Well done.
I I hope the answer on that by most of you Bonnaroovians is yes. I really do hope, and if you didn't, lie. Say you did, because they
Well
can't
done.
prove it. They can't prove that you didn't. Um, just a couple more here, and then we can wrap it up. Okay, sorry. Here's this to continue on that point. If you did tune in, do you feel like it was helpful with essential festival communications? And I have an interesting answer to this. What do you think, Barry?
I enjoyed it. I know because I didn't listen enough that it would be essential, but I mean, I'm so glad it's back. I'm glad we were able to participate. I hope that we can figure out how to use it next year.
Yeah. What about you, Russ? You give it much while you were there?
Yeah, we listened while we were there. I wouldn't say that we tuned in, like, to hear any kind of announcements, but, just sitting there at camp, "Hey, let's turn on Bonnaroo Radio." I mean, it was great for that. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't find, cell service lacking this year,
No, it was
so,
awesome.
yeah, I was able to get updates that way, which I guess is kind of the default way now, so it wasn't like, "Oh, my phone's not working. Let's turn on the radio and see what's going on."
Sure.
Um, but just to have something on in the background and it was super cool.
Well, my complaint about it is going to be, and I listened a lot. Is first of all, Ben, my last name's is escaping me, and I apologize, but who is the main programmer for all this, just absolutely killed it. Killed the way he put it together. It was layered so well. It sounded so good. I was really happy with that.
Mhm.
But when we were in in the festival on that Friday, there was a huge dumping of rain and a storm, and then another time or two. And I wasn't getting information coming from there that was updated much at all. And that's because it was back in the hands of Rooster 1015. I don't want to hate on the station because I like the station, but it was canned stuff that was running all day. You know this, Barry, these lazy radio stations that exist now. You hear a weather forecast on it, and it was put in at 6 a.m. this morning.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
You know,
It's always funny to me to be listening to the radio and then go to the grocery store and see the DJ in line with me.
Yeah.
Hey, it's oh wait, aren't I just saw you?
he's
Yeah,
right there. So you're getting weather at 5 p.m. that was put in at 6 a.m. this morning, doesn't do
right,
you any good.
right, right.
And there was a version of that. So I would like more, hey, I'm volunteering, guys. Give me a ring. On site, hey, here's what's happening this moment. And I'm telling you exactly what I'm seeing and who I'm with and who's giving me information rather than a more traditional radio canned weather forecast. So I would say it could be much more effective, and I will help you, Bonnaroo, do that if you would like. Last one, it's got three versions of it. We'll just simple though, keep it simple. Did you see a show at the Where stage or the UFO stage, as they would call it there in the corner?
No,
I did not.
I did not.
heard but didn't see.
I wandered over when Corey and his buddy, whoever that was playing some Grateful Dead. All they were doing is just playing music from
Steven.
their laptop.
Steven, yeah.
Steven. And I love you guys, and I listened to a little Dead. There was nobody there. It was just like it was just a jukebox. So I have no opinion on it. I don't know if it did well, but I would say probably. I think people liked it over there. I think.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like the idea. I mean, I think LSZ was over there, right? Wasn't that Sunday night or Saturday night?
I don't know.
Sunday.
I don't know, but
It
I
was
think
I was just
loud as a mother.
I was just a little underwhelmed with the size. I mean, I walked over in the daytime before any acts were playing, and I thought, this is
Yeah,
it.
you
Like,
and I
it's
walked
really
over.
not that big, and
I thought
it looks fine in the woods, and especially when they had it up top. But yeah, when it's just sitting in the ground, just in the middle of a field, you're like, "Ooh, this looks like something you'd set up in your backyard for your kids to play in."
it looks like junk. It looks
It
like junk. Yes, I
Everything does in
agree.
the daylight. I look like junk in the daylight.
True,
Good point.
like well, like I said, yeah, it was middle of the day, so I didn't really see it all lit up and in production at night, it probably was
It
a lot better at night.
Same here. I saw it during the day. It looked like a playground item at an old McDonald's from the '80s.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
yeah,
Wow.
fair.
Some kind of dangerous
An old
sliding
Hardee's on the
Mm,
side of the
yeah. Yeah.
grimace, right? Like the grimace thing. I don't
That's
know.
funny.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
at night, I'm sure it's a whole different thing. And then what did you think of Bonnaroo's? We already said. I think it's a space like that is excellent. An excellent place.
Loved
It's
it.
an excellent
Loved everything about it. I would say
respite
more
from all the
yeah.
other stuff.
I would say more TVs.
Yeah.
They had one inside and one outside. I expected more like you walk into Buffalo Wild Wings and you see like a wall of TVs
I
with everything every sport you want to watch.
I totally agree, but I go back to what I said a month ago. I don't go to Bonnaroo to watch soccer.
What?
Yeah,
It bothers me a little bit. I mean, it bothered me at Moon River. It bothered me at Shaky Knees. I'm not there to watch college football, guys. I'm there to watch music. But I loved having the shade. I loved having the beer. I loved
There it
all,
is.
well, you and I,
but I
we
ain't there to watch a dang soccer
yeah.
game. So
Well,
Well,
we tried to get a beer in there.
yeah,
Remember we walked
well,
in
there
and
was
sat
that
down
too.
and yeah, they said, we're waiting on ice. Give us about 15 minutes. And, we sat there and waited and thought,
Yeah, yeah,
even if they get ice
yeah.
now,
It ain't
it's
gonna
still
be
going to
good.
be
no, I'm about
30
to
minutes to
say,
an hour before
It
it's
yeah,
ain't gonna
cold.
be
Yeah.
good.
we need a lot
Yeah.
more than 15 minutes here on this one.
And this,
Um,
what time was it? It was like, what, it
11:30,
was 11:30. I mean,
11:15.
it wasn't like first thing in the morning. Like,
No,
you
no.
guys should be up and running by now.
It was, yeah. Anyway,
Barry, I'm with you. I mean, I don't go to a festival to watch sports either, and I find the obsession with football, American football, especially college, to be odd. But I like sports, and I like
me too.
sports bars, and I like people who hang out in sports bars, and
There is no greater Notre Dame football fan than me, but I have
oh,
always loved that you don't see guys walking around, guys and girls walking around wearing sporting their SEC rules and their Alabamas and their Notre Dame. It's not why we're there. We're there for music, and I've
yeah,
always loved that and appreciated it, and so I'm conflicted
True.
on that one.
Do you remember the sports bar from Exit 111 back in 2019, Brian? I thought
yeah.
that worked really well.
They had a bunch of TVs in there, but that was
Yeah.
football season. That was football season.
Right. Yeah. It was a
So
different time of year.
Moon River was in September. I mean,
Hmm.
that place was packed with people watching the Vols in Alabama, I think, and it
well,
hurt me. It hurt my heart that we're
I'd
I get it.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I was in there watching the Titans one year because it was opening week. It was opening week, and
I
I wanted to.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
It's just something icky about it.
I hear you. Last one on here, which we don't need to do here, but it was just an interesting thing to get people to write in was just who do you want to see? Name your favorite band, right? Like, so I don't know how
Hmm.
much that goes, but that's the final one on the 2027 Bonnaroo Music Census. So hopefully you've taken it. Sure it's. I don't know if it's closed up yet or not. We sat on it for a few weeks, so we apologize about that. But
Tom A. Smith. Look it up.
Tom A. Smith.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Well, yeah. Send it. We'll look it up. I put Radiohead on there.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
see them again.
I'd love to see Radiohead back. Love to see
Yeah.
that. Well, I
All
got to
right.
get going to the Caverns, guys. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Well, we got,
Kelly asked me this morning how it'll be quick. It'll be a short one. It never.
We never do
is.
short ones. Yeah. But I will mention we have our own survey out now. Bryan, I know you mentioned you hate this, but it's mostly just market research, just kind of about our own show. You know, how do you listen? Where did you hear about us? What kind of stuff do you want us to cover? So we'd appreciate everyone to fill that out and just give us some ideas of, how you think our show's going, independent of any other major festival, but
Data is very important, and when I
yeah.
my biggest hate on it is like national polling for political stuff, and it's it gets a little in the weeds. But no, yeah, I didn't even know that. We appreciate you guys taking a look at that.
Yeah, we'll drop it in the show notes and everything, and put it out on social media. So maybe we'll get some responses to that. Just thought I'd piggyback off of our survey talk here.
Yeah, no, very good call to action there, and I like it.